I'm very excited to talk about this one. Comic-Con 2019, Kevin Feige knocked it out of the park. He was in Hall H. I was at Comic-Con 2019. I wasn't in Hall H when he gave this announcement, but having been in Hall H before and knowing how powerful that feels, I can only imagine the electricity in the room. Man, oh man, they delivered project after project after project. And then when you thought they were done, he says, oh yeah, come meet my friend Mahershala Ali. He's playing Blade. Boom! Like, everyone's like, wait, what? So we're going to talk about this particular article from MovieWeb. There are 3 different things that I want to discuss, kind of break it down. First, this article talks about, as the headline suggests, they're most likely going to start filming in 2021. Second of all, we have an official title, or rather this article is claiming that we have an official title. And then the third thing that it brings up is PG-13 versus R. Kevin Feige has confirmed that this film is going to be PG-13. It's not going to be rated R, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, I want to talk about the merits of it being filmed in 2021. Let's jump into the article. I need to be clear about this first. I did a little bit of searching on the internet. If anybody can fact check this, if anybody has more information than I currently do, please let me know down in the comment section below. As far as I can tell, the 2 things that I want to talk about first, it's going to start filming in 2021, and also the official title of the movie being called Blade, the Vampire Slayer. I have not been able to verify. That yet, you guys. Probably. I mean, I have no reason to doubt these 2 things. It makes sense. They just hired the writer. We're early in the year of 2021. They just hired Stacey Osef. I think it's Stacey Osef Kufur, who is an Emmy-nominated writer from Watchmen. So once they bang out the script, I don't think it's outside of the realm of impossibility to start production, actually start filming by the middle, if not end of the year, this year. But that is gone unconfirmed currently. The second thing, Blade, the Vampire Slayer. I haven't been able to find any sources besides MovieWeb that says this is the official title now. So if you have any official sources as to say this is the actual title, please let me know. But yeah, and you know, we'll go on to talk about the PG-13 merits in a second. But Eric, 2021, is that outside of the realm of impossibility that they're going to start production, that this film could come out next year?
Oh, I can't see it coming out next year. I mean, it'd be amazing, but a standpoint of Marvel and films these days, if they do 2021, it's going to be summer or later, is my guess. I mean, I know that some stuff is filming now, and they're doing a great job with COVID and so on. But I mean, a movie like this, it may be easier, right? We've got a show that involves a lot of fight scenes, and that can all be done in an enclosed space with very enclosed people that you have a small niche. Said there's going to be CGI, and they're going to, and it's going to be dark. It's going to be a dark movie. So they're probably going to have a bit more time in the processing room. So my guess is, even if we do get filming this year and it comes out next year, we're talking November, December time, if it even comes out.
I would like to throw out October as a possible release date in time for Halloween.
That's true. That would be great. It'd be awesome. I can't tell you how excited I am in 2 different ways, because I love Blade. Love what Wesley Snipes did. We last summer we did an outdoor movie night here in the backyard. It was a great way to socially distance. It was wonderful, and Blade was definitely on that list. We're going to start it up again here once the weather gets nicer. Blade's going to be back, whether we do Blade 1 or we do all 3. Who the hell knows? But the best part about it, I mean, Blade was so iconic and so much fun to get to see it. Somebody who I think is the perfect casting. in so many ways.
Oh man, Mahershala Ali, like that's like
so good.
It was one of those castings that like nobody was talking about because it wasn't. I mean, yeah, people were kind of talking about like, hey, Marvel should do Blade. Hey, Marvel should do Blade. But nobody was like really taking it seriously. And then out of the blue, Kevin Feige whacked us across the face with Mahershala Ali and said, "You're welcome." And we're all like, "Wow, I didn't even know I needed this in my life." And it's like that Futurama meme, "Shut up and take my money."
Yeah. Well, that's a great example. You know, we're talking casting, and I know we'll talk more here in a minute, but the reality is that there's this weird twofold thing. Do you get somebody who looks the part based on what your audience, us, expect to see, or do you get somebody who's just a good actor who can play the role? And then, of course, you also have that like third one of like, well, we have somebody who's super famous. Let's put him in no matter what. And I think we luck out here because I think he's not only a phenomenal.
Yeah.
Hey, who we're done.
Well, I know our longtime viewer, Matthew Wiles. And Matthew, if you are watching right now, please pipe up and throw in your 2 cents here. But he would he would throw into the mix Finn from Star Wars. His name is escaping me at the moment. Why can't I think of his name? John Boyega. Thank you. It's an ongoing bit that we have with John Boyega. But yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. We get the trifecta.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh,
we get the trifecta.
Could John play? So John, let's do multiverse. Blade. John is like young Blade with like the first time he meets Whistler or something like that. He's 2099. He's a low.
He's Blade 2099.
There we go. That's it.
Mm-hmm. He's 2099.
I love it.
Oh man, who like Whistler? There you go. Like who could play Whistler? That.
Gosh.
I mean,
I still kind of want Chris Christopherson to come back. I mean,
I've never liked Chris Christopherson ever in anything. Period. I don't know. There's something about him. I just like. I just no.
You know, he's young. In fact, he'd be two. What just dawned on me would be Clint Eastwood's son.
Scott
might just be fun to play him. The age range doesn't work.
Yeah.
At all, but there's something about not that he's top of my list as far as performers go.
Yeah.
But it might be a fun name to throw in there. Huh. It's a throwaway.
I mean, it's definitely something that I'm gonna have to sit and think about a little bit more. I mean, like my knee-jerk reaction, they can't do this because he's already playing Nick Fury, but Samuel L. Jackson, I think, could play a really cool Whistler. Yeah. I mean, they can't do it because he's already cast in the MCU. But anyway, other points.
Oh, what about what's his name from Star Wars? He's in the wow. I'm
talking about Giancarlo Esposito?
Yes. No. I'm talking about he's the smuggler. He's in the new prequel version.
Oh,
the spy.
German filmmaker.
No. Though I know where you're going. That could be really fun. And I'm thinking the one right before A New Hope.
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Thank you. And his name
Andor Cassian?
Yes. Cassian. It's a weird casting.
He's really young. But I think he's younger. He's younger than Mahershala Ali.
Yeah.
Well, so
is Boyega, Eastwood. So like all these people.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Interesting. I'll have to think about this a little bit more. I do want to address 2 other things regarding Blade. One is clicked on the wrong thing. Let's talk about the PG-13. Let's talk about PG-13 rating here for a second. Kevin Feige was giving an interview. Can I get this to scroll? Sorry, you guys. Today is one of those days where like computer's running slow, internet's running slow. brains are running slow. I'm like trying to produce and talk eloquently about same things at the same time. All right, here we go. Kevin Feige had this to say about the PG-13 rating. He said, other than Deadpool, which has already established itself as a certain genre and a certain rating that we already said that we would not mess with when we started working with Deadpool, which we have. Other than that, we haven't encountered a story or a storyline or a character's journey that a PG-13 or the tone or the ratings we've been using up to this point have prevented us. I mean that...
I think that's a mistake.
You think that's a mistake?
Oh, totally. I mean, we look at the first Blades are.
But look at violence in movies, though. Look at the violence in movies. Like, you can get away with a lot in a PG-13 rating. I mean, yeah, they're not going to be dropping the F-bomb, and they're probably not going to be having giant, like, blood spurts all over the place. But, I mean, look at kind of what they're doing with WandaVision right now. It started to take a dark turn. And I'm not going to say it's as dark as Wesley Snipes' Blade. It's not that dark. It's not as dark as the Netflix Punisher or... that's the best incarnation of Punisher. It's wonderful. I mean, it's not that kind of dark, but I don't know. I kind of feel like they could do some really cool stuff. Tell the story that they want to tell. I always say in Kevin Feige, I trust. I mean, Captain Marvel, I take issue with, but
I think okay. So that first movie, Blade, the first Blade, we got an R-rated movie, and yes, R then is more PG-13 now. I will wholeheartedly agree with that. I think there's an advantage if they say right off stop, and we're going to stick with it. We're not going to cross that quote-unquote line. I think it puts limitations on a filmmaker. I think one of the advantages of Blade was that we saw something we didn't see before. And we saw something with a bit more freedom that you didn't necessarily expect. I'm not saying that I want blood gushing everywhere. I'm not saying that I want decapitation and gore. It actually doesn't appeal to me. But the freedom you have to go, if the story or if the film needs it, if that freedom's there, if there's that wiggle room to be like, you know what, it's available, like there's a little more opportunity. So I feel like the hard line stop on a film that I had students who would come up and like, what'd you do today? We watched Deadpool, or we watched Logan, right? These are movies that are not made for olds, but my dad took me to it. So if it's rated R, people are going to get taken there. So it feels like it's your limitation on the audience.
But what about Disney's brand? Disney does have to protect their brand, because if they just start putting out R-rated content, and people, I mean, you are going to push away some of your audience. I mean, Disney has made choices in the past that have done that.
My problem with that, though, is that Disney's made another choice on the opposite end. They made a choice to buy all these, and there's a point that they need to be aware that even though their brand is you can't be a family-friendly company and buy Hustler and Playboy and expect not to have some crossover. So I feel like there's got to be a little bit of that wiggle room that they need to start realizing they have to have some leeway. And whether that is, even if they put it under a different company, right? They have it under Disney Dark presents Blade.
Disney Dark.
Disney Dark.
Disney After Dark.
Disney at home, in quotation.
Disney at home after dark, by yourself, alone.
That's right. Disney alone.
PG-13 plus. Man,
it's a whole difference.
Wow.
That reaction is, if they make a hard line, they're going to be stifling themselves. and I'd like them to be more creative.
Last thing that we're going to discuss about Blade is the title, potential title. Again, MovieWeb is saying it's confirmed it's going to be called Blade the Vampire Slayer, which harkens to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But in my mind, it harkens more towards a title akin to Captain America the First Avenger, Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, as opposed to just calling it like Blade 1, Blade 2, Blade 3, you know, because they're going to do sequels to this.
Oh, yeah.
If they are calling it Blade the Vampire Slayer, I think it's clever, setting it up for future installments of films so that they don't just keep relying on Blade 1, Blade 2, Blade 3. That being said, I kind of just like the simplicity of calling it Blade.
Yeah, I think you get little back and forth. Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, you know, all that stuff. So I think licensing wise, there's always a tricky scenario, right? You can't just call it Blade because people type in Blade in Google or they look up Blade or whatever. You're going to get
that's fair.
A great movie. That being said, though, I do love the idea of sort of Blade : the Vampire Slayer, Hunter, Killer, whatever you want to call it. Marvel's and I blame Joss Whedon for this, is that Marvel's been really good about not just calling character comic name on a Iron Man.
Yeah.
They're very subtle and without any spoilers to finally give a name to a character that we have yet to be officially named on screen.
Yeah.
So that reality of having some potential, etc. along the lines would be really great. Do I want a really long origin story again? No, I don't. But if we get a snippet of an origin story, the next movie is Blade and Friends.
Blade and Friends.
Blade on vacation, right? You know, we could have a lot of fun here. I think there's some awesome
you say that tongue in cheek, but a film called Blade on Vacation could set itself up for like a really fun Blade Deadpool crossover.
It'd be great. I
like,
love
what if
that.
Blade and Deadpool and Wade Wilson are just kind of like, you know what? Let's go to the Bahamas. We're done. Like, we're done fighting all this weird paranormal stuff.
No. It's not the Bahamas. It's
Okay.
Hawaii. And then David Hasselhoff shows up as a Coast Guard lifeguard.
Can we get Kit to make a special appearance? if that is the case. All right, guys, we have talked Blade to death, but no pun intended. But what are your thoughts on Blade the Vampire Slayer, PG-13, starting to film this year? What are your thoughts? Do you think any of this is true? Do you think there is merit to a PG-13 rating as opposed to an R rating? I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share, because that is exactly what the mighty Thor would want you to do. For Asgard!